podcast powered by KBLA Talk 1580 and never miss an episode. You'll get that push notification as soon as we publish that new episode, and all will be well. All will be well. Now it's time for your national news roundup. It's time for you to decide the good, bad, and ugly headlines, including the dumpster fire of the day. Kicking us off, Trump's Justice Department has ordered prosecutors to drop charges against New York Mayor Eric Adams. This news breaking while we have been on air here, as reported by the Associated Press. A top official at the U.S. Department of Justice has ordered federal prosecutors to drop charges against New York Mayor Eric Adams, a Democrat who's cultivated a pretty warm relationship with President Donald Trump. In a two-page memo, the whole two-page memo obtained by the Associated Press, acting Deputy Attorney General Emil Bove, who's an alumnus of the Manhattan office that brought the case, said that the decision to dismiss the charges was reached without an assessment of the strength of the prosecution and was not meant to call into question the attorneys who filed the case. But Bove said the timing of the charges and more recent actions by the former U.S. attorney who led the office, Damian Williams, have threatened the integrity of the proceedings, including by increasing prejudicial pretrial publicity that risk impacting potential witnesses and the jury pool. The development comes after months of speculation that Trump's Justice Department would take steps to end the criminal case against Adams without offering evidence. Yeah, so here we are. And I know that just recently, Mayor Adams had agreed to some of the terms of President Trump in terms of some of the mass deportation efforts. And so I don't know, is it quid pro quo? Is it I'll scratch my back, you scratch mine, I'll scratch yours? Is that what it is? For some people, that's what it looks like. But I'm sure we'll be digging into that quite a bit in the days and weeks ahead. In other news, have you checked your Google Calendar recently? The Verge is reporting that the Google Calendar removed events like Pride and Black History Month because its holiday list wasn't sustainable. Some Google Calendar users are angrily calling the company out after noticing that certain events like Pride Month are no longer highlighted by default. Black History Month, Indigenous People Month, Jewish Heritage, Holocaust Remembrance Day, and Hispanic Heritage have all been removed, according to a Google product expert. One user called the move shameful and said that the platform is being used to capitulate to fascism. Over the last few years, there have been comments and media reports complaining about the presence of the notes, but now they're gone. Google confirmed it's made changes to the default calendar events, but with different explanations about when and why. According to a spokesperson from Google, they said, quotes, "For over a decade, we worked with timeanddate.com to show public holidays and national observances in Google Calendar. Some years ago, the calendar team started manually adding a broader set of cultural moments in a wide number of countries around the world. We got feedback that some other events and countries were missing, and maintaining hundreds of moments manually and consistently globally wasn't scalable or sustainable. So in mid-2024, we returned to showing only public holidays and national observances from timeanddate.com globally, while allowing users to manually add other important moments." I'm just saying the timing of this is quite interesting, right? While there is this all-out attack on all things diversity, equity, and inclusion, Google just happened to have made this decision at this particular moment. Look, we the people get to decide. Google's a great product. I use the Google product, but there are other products out there. And I think, everybody will assess what their threshold is for these sorts of decisions coming down from companies whose products we enjoy, right? And so for some people, this might be tolerable. For other people, this may be a bridge too far. But, we'll let individuals vote not just with your feet, but vote with your fingers, I guess, on your keyboard. Moving along, pay penalties keeping men out of the classroom. The Wall Street Journal is reporting on a story about Trent Petty, who is one of three male teachers at John Worcester Elementary School in Philadelphia. Principal Erica Smith says she'd love to hire more male teachers and has asked her team for candidates, but she struggles to find qualified applicants. You see, a generation of boys are growing up with few male role models in the classroom. Boys today are more likely than girls to have discipline problems in school and fall behind in reading. They're less likely to complete high school and enroll in college. In the 1970s and 80s, some of y'all might remember that nearly 1 in 3 public school teachers were men. That's according to estimates from the U.S. Department of Education. Now, not even 1 in 4 teachers are male, according to the latest federal data. And so, very interesting story there. And look, there's some excellent teachers out there, and male, and female teachers, and other teachers are also saying, hey, if you pay us more, right, like we want to do this, but we got to be able to afford to do this. And so this is another casualty of the chasm that exists in terms of teacher pay. But the only casualty on the football field was the Kansas City Chiefs. Did y'all see that game? Did you watch the Super Bowl? Did you see the abundance of Black excellence from beginning to end? I mean, it started with Ledisi performing the Black National Anthem. And then you had John Baptiste performing the National Anthem. And then, Jalen Hurts and team, doing their thing on the field. Halftime show, Kendrick Lamar featuring Serena Williams, featuring SZA, featuring Samuel L. Jackson. It was, some of the best art that we've seen on a stage like that. And everybody's talking about it. The reviews are coming in. A lot of people are saying that Kendrick Lamar brings America, not like us, into a history-making Super Bowl halftime. We'll see what our guest this hour has to say about the Super Bowl and all the hats that were worn, as she wears many hats. She is a lifestyle influencer, a luxury realtor. She is a former OBGYN who stepped away from medicine on her own terms. And she believes deeply in maximizing your time and energy on the people and pursuits that bring you joy, wonder, and substance in life. Don't we want to bottle that up? I certainly do. When we come forward, we're going to meet Dr. Jeannie Jacobs, and we're going to learn more about her story. And for anybody out there that is thinking about remixing their life, anybody out there that's thinking about reimagining what their life can be, Jeannie Jacobs' story might just be a source of inspiration for you. You are listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. More when we come forward.
80. We've got a lot to talk about.
They can do anything they want to us. We might not be back. I might be in jail. I might be anywhere. But when I leave, you can remember I said with the last words on my lips. I am a revolutionary.
On Saturday, February 22nd, you are invited to A Night with the Panthers, a special fundraiser dedicated to supporting Black Panther veterans who now require assistance with essential needs such as medicine, food, and housing. These Black Panther veterans championed human rights, fed the hungry, educated the community, and stood as powerful symbols of resistance and resilience. Despite their incredible sacrifices, loving and serving the people did not come with retirement plans or financial security. So, now it's our time to honor their legacy and ensure that they are cared for with the dignity they deserve. You can help by attending and supporting A Night with the Panthers, Saturday, February 22nd, 6:30 p.m. to 10 p.m. at the Project 43 Team Post Center, 6841 Crenshaw Boulevard, Los Angeles. For more information, contact Black Panther Party Breakfast at gmail.com or call 707-554-2784. That's Black Panther Party Breakfast at gmail.com or call 707-554-2784. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
With Target, checking off your Valentine's Day list has never been easier. First, surprise your favorite people with something extra thoughtful, like a soothing candle in a memorable scent, or a decorative picture frame to show off every moment. Both buy one, get one 50% off with Target Circle. And don't forget to treat yourself. Find the sweetest style for your special occasion with 20% off women's dresses now through Friday. This week, find Valentine's gifts for everyone you love, only at Target.
I can't believe how spotless my floors look after using the Swiffer Power Mop. No more dragging around a heavy mop and messy bucket. Now I get the same deep clean without all the work. Thanks to the powerful solution and scrubbing pad of the Swiffer Power Mop, dirt and grime don't stand a chance, and I don't break a sweat. Mic drop. Mop drop.
Swiffer Power Mop. Swiffer Power Mop.
A smarter way to mop. Try it or your money back.
Lena Bloom for the Bail Project.
Imagine you're stuck in a jail cell and you can't afford bail and someone offers you a way out. Just plead guilty and you can go home and kiss your kids goodnight. What do? What thousands have. You plead guilty whether you are or not. Cash bail makes poverty a crime. That's why the Bail Project helps those who can't afford it while fighting to end cash bail. Because freedom should be free.
Brought to you by the Ad Council.
We have no permanent friends or permanent enemies. Only permanent interests. As we effort to build a more perfect union.
You're listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. I'm Dr. Nii-Quartelai Corte. And, in addition to offering you a daily political news digest during your afternoon drive time, we also like to have fun around here. Look, the news can be heavy. And we are more than the news that we consume. We're more than our jobs, right? We are whole people. And I want to invite Dr. Jeannie Jacobs to the show, somebody who knows that very, 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 very well, as she has remixed her life in a pretty extraordinary way. Welcome to the show, Jeannie.
Hey, thank you. I'm excited to be here. How are you?
I'm well. I'm excited to have you here. And look, there are a number of folks right here in Washington, D.C., where I'm broadcasting today, who may not have been ready to, but because of circumstances, might feel pushed to reimagine their career, to re-envision a future in an industry that may be a little foreign to them. Talk to us about how you summoned the courage to walk away from, a career as an OBGYN and pursue your dream of being, this luxury brand influencer, this luxury brand maven.
Well, I just got tired of it. I stood up during COVID and I looked at this patient who basically was just berating me and the staff and didn't care about COVID. She was dying, told me all kinds of ugly things. And something clicked. I looked at her and I said, why am I here trying to help somebody who doesn't want to help themselves? I'm struggling trying to keep my family healthy and safe. Is it really worth it? And I knew being a physician, you go through all this training. I'm not crazy. I'm not dumb. I have skills. I have a life. I have dreams. I have hopes. I have things that I need to do for myself. And that voice, there was something in the back of my head. My voice kept saying, go, it's time. And I actually stood up and I went to my call room and called my supervising physician. I said, hey, I'm done. And that was it. I walked out of the hospital, stripped my coat off, took off my badge, threw it in the trash, and I got in the car and I never looked back. So it just kind of built over the years, just the politics in medicine, the stresses with corporate America interfering with medicine, patients who no longer really had faith, I guess, in doctors. And we're seeing it now politically. Science is garbage, right? Nobody wants to believe the numbers. It's there. What are we doing? Why are we sacrificing ourselves as physicians in particular for this? Who's going to take care of us? Who's going to love on us when we need it? Is it my calling to die with a baby in my hand? No, I have my own babies that I want to make sure they grow up and be great human beings. And I want to be a grandmother too. And that was it. And I've never, ever felt guilty or looked back or sorry.
If you had to do it again, would you have pursued medicine? I mean, was there a part of you that, was never crazy about pursuing medicine in the first place, but powered through? Or, did you just, go from having a love for medicine to just developing a love for other things?
That's a great question. I think for me and a lot of my colleagues, yeah, there's periods of time as you train that, I think I make the wrong move, right? But you continue to push forward because you've gotten so far, and that pressure, the money and time that you spend is phenomenal. But for me, I think I know for a fact I always wanted to be a physician ever since I was probably like 3 or 4 years old. And it was kind of funny because my grandmother lived not too far from a hospital, and there was a Black physician at this hospital. I actually walked 3 blocks when I was 4 years old from my grandmother's house into Providence Hospital in Columbia, South Carolina. And that's when I met my first, physician or mentor. So I think that calling definitely was there for me. But I think my whole thing is that you have to know when you have to stop and take a look at yourself and say, is this all? What else? And recognize there is other stuff for you to do, or there is another calling for you, and just say, I'm going to do it. Don't hesitate to step up and do it, because it will open so many doors for you. It would completely change your life. It will bring you to places where you never thought you could be. And you'll be able to give gifts, give people what they need, give yourself what you need, and continue to grow. Because you never want to stagnate in life, right?
You don't, and I can really relate to your story. I mean, I mentioned on the show often that before returning to journalism, I really had spent a long time in public affairs and advocacy. I was just on the other side of the table, and so I returned to what my first love was journalism. I always wanted to be a journalist, and along the way, sometimes it's the pay, it's sometimes it feels a little easier to do what you're already doing than to break away and do something different. But I think like you, the pandemic was sort of a nudge to do it differently, right? To take a chance.
Exactly. What do you got to lose? To me, I felt I had nothing to lose. I could sit at that hospital and grind all day, but I'm going to lose me. My kids will probably end up losing me. By that time that I started to leave, I was almost on my 3rd blood pressure medicine. Isn't that crazy? Yeah. Is that worth it to kill myself for other people who really didn't care about me or respected my family, or even really saw me as being a human? I'm just like a machine. So I was like, I'm done, God will provide that way, and certainly has. And he's continued to do that. I found my purpose. I found that focus, that light, that clarity that made me just walk. And I can't really have a hard time explaining it. It's just that voice. It said, go. And I went. And it was the best thing ever that I've done for myself and my family.
Now, you mentioned your purpose. I think there are a lot of people that think about their purpose and their paycheck and their purpose. And so talk to us about how you were able to make peace with letting go of that paycheck and pursuing what you believe was your purpose.
Well, the first thing I think that, like I was saying, that voice said, go, Jeannie, you got to go. I wanted a life. I wanted to live. There was no choice. If I was going to stay, I was going to die. That's the way I felt it. And I knew, as far as my purpose, that's something that took a while. It's not going to happen overnight because it's a mindset change. Like you said, you get hooked into your routine, your paycheck, that dollar, being that title that you have. You have to change your mind. Like, you still who you are without those things. You will always be that way. And it took time. It took patience. What I did, probably years before, I tapped back into what I used to be, who I was before medicine. That was the cleaning, the cooking, the entertaining, the traveling, reading that Encyclopedia Britannica when I was little. I went back into that phase of when I was a little girl, what I thought my life would be like. And I started trying things. I got a real estate license. It clicked for me. I loved it. I started trying to paint. That didn't work so well. I quickly went to something else. The whole thing is, it takes time, it's patient, it's trial and error. Tap into who you were before you became the doctor, the journalist, or whatever it is. Try those things out. If something works, go with it. If it doesn't, quickly just toss it aside and move to the next thing. So that gave me peace. I knew that I could move into something different because I was already testing myself out. And I knew by doing real estate and being involved in different things around my community, I saw people who didn't have my title, who didn't have my education. They were doing far better than me, personally and financially. So I knew there were other avenues to bring money in. And also, I was a good saver. And also, I'm married, and my husband and I both had the same mindset of being entrepreneurial, going out there and doing things that are contrary to what your colleagues, particularly in medicine, it's like a bully system. If you don't do certain things in medicine, you don't look like a doctor, sound like a doctor. If you do something different, that whole bully thing plays in. Even when I was in the hospital, other doctors look at me like, oh, trying to be dismissive. But now they're looking at me like, girl, I wish I could be like you. And they're calling me. We're eating lunch. They're like, what can I do? So what you do, be contrary, mind your business, take charge. Don't be afraid of it. Grasp every little thing you can and learn and run with it. And also look beyond your scope. I look beyond the doctors. I went and I was, talking to people in convenience stores, everything all around town. And I have found so much support. I found people who were very much like me, who didn't look like me necessarily, who didn't have the same educational level, but I was able to grow and form these great friendships and support systems. So support, you're going to find it. I tell people, don't worry about, they say, oh my gosh, I'm out here by myself. That's fine. But you're going to find that support. And it's not going to necessarily be your family or friends who are going to support you and guide you and give you that light to push forward.
One of the things that you often say that my dad actually used to say a lot while I was growing up is that your attitude will determine your altitude.
Yes.
When we come forward, I want to unpack that, because I think it's easy for people to sort of tap in and hear this and say, okay, well, Jeannie, if I was, an OBGYN, and if I was married, and if I was a good saver, I'm sure I could, pursue my heart's desires as well. But part of what I'm hearing underneath that is that it really started with an attitude. And so we want to talk about how you readjusted your attitude. and glean whatever it is that we can to help us with our own attitudes, because you got to convince yourself before you convince anybody else.
Exactly.
Right. And so we want to talk about how you did that when we come forward. You're listening to A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580.
Enlightened and empowered about issues related to national politics, elections, identity, culture change, and social justice. You tuned into the right place. A More Perfect Union continues when we come forward.
I'm Amber Payton with 4 Things You Should Know with BIN News. President Trump is set to sign an order pausing enforcement of a law banning bribery of foreign officials. It stops Department of Justice prosecutions to keep U.S. businesses competitive. A $1.25 million settlement for the family of a black man, Dexter Reed, killed by police after firing first, is stalled in Chicago City Council. Some aldermen oppose the payout, fearing it rewards wrongdoing, while others worry a court battle could cost more. Springfield, Ohio is suing the neo-Nazi group Blood Tribe for allegedly threatening residents. The lawsuit accuses them of racist harassment, showing up armed at events, and intimidating those supporting the city's Haitian community. And today it's known as Super Sick Monday, as millions call out the day after the big game. A poll says 22 million people skipped work, up 40% from last year. I'm Amber Payton on the Black Information Network, your home for Black News First.
Hawthorne is slow on the 105 eastbound, delays from the 405 as you travel all the way to the 605. In Norwalk on the 605 northbound, that drive crowds up away from Rosecrans, delays all the way to the 10. We're looking at the 10 eastbound out of Boyle Heights, backing up from the 5 freeway. Delays extend all the way to Azusa, and it's very tough in San Bernardino. Earlier crash on the 215 southbound at University, still plugging up lanes, sending the drive back from the 15 split.
New year, fresh start. Why not with better water? LifeSource Water gives you clean, filtered water from every tap with no salt and no frequent maintenance. Call 800-WATER-99 or visit lifesourcewater.com today. Warranty limitations apply.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Anthony Davis's injury troubles have followed him to Dallas. The former Lakers star will be out at least a month with a strained abductor muscle. AD was hurt in his debut game with the Mavericks on Saturday against Houston. Before suffering the injury in the third quarter, AD was torching Houston in his first game in front of Mavericks fans. 26 points, 16 rebounds, 7 assists, and 3 block shots. Mavericks fans, angered by the trade that sent Luka Doncic to the Lakers, will have to wait a while to see if AD can ease the pain of losing Doncic. A future star in women's gymnastics is coming from an HBCU school. Morgan Price, a junior at Fisk University in Nashville, became the first HBCU gymnast to earn a perfect 10 in NCAA competition. Judges gave Price a 10 for her performance on the uneven bars in a meet Saturday at Temple University. Price also won the all-around competition in the meet at Temple. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
They can do anything they want to us. We might not be back. I might be in jail. I might be anywhere. But when I leave, you can remember I said with the last words on my lips, I am a revolutionary.
On Saturday, February 22nd, you are invited to A Night with the Panthers, a special fundraiser dedicated to supporting Black Panther veterans who now require assistance with essential needs such as medicine, food, and housing. These Black Panther veterans championed human rights, fed the hungry, educated the community, and stood as powerful symbols of resistance and resilience. Despite their incredible sacrifices, loving and serving the people did not come with retirement plans or financial security. So, now it's our time to honor their legacy and ensure that they are cared for with the dignity they deserve. You can help by attending and supporting A Night with the Panthers, Saturday, February 22nd, 6:30 p.m. to 10 p.m. at the Project 43 Team Post Center, 6841 Crenshaw Boulevard, Los Angeles. For more information, contact Black Panther Party Breakfast at gmail.com or call 707-554-2784. That's Black Panther Party Breakfast at gmail.com or call 707-554-2784. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
February is Black History Month, a time to celebrate the achievements and resilience of Black communities. But it's important to address health disparities in diseases like asthma. In the U.S., Black Americans are approximately 5 times more likely than white Americans to be hospitalized for asthma. But there's hope. Managing your asthma is possible with regular checkups, using prescribed medications correctly, avoiding asthma triggers, and creating an action plan with your healthcare professional. Take control. Your health is your power. To learn more about asthma, visit luma-edu.com. This message is brought to you by Amgen and AstraZeneca.
I feel so alone.
I'm embarrassed to talk about it.
How can I help my kid if I can't help myself?
I can't remember when I wasn't stressed.
I don't like being inside.
When you feel overwhelmed by your thoughts and emotions, it's okay to get help. You are not alone. CalHope is here for you with free, safe, and confidential mental health resources for youth, young adults, families, and you. Find support now at calhope.org.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
Hit me!
National news of consequence, informed opinion, and analysis beyond the headlines. You're listening to A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580.
You are listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. I'm Dr. Nii-Quartelai, and she's Dr. Jeannie Jacobs. She's an OBGYN turned lifestyle maven. She has an incredible story, which really caught my attention because it's not every day that you hear about, doctors like yourself who have decided to, as I think of it, remix your life.
Yes.
Really, not just reinvent yourself, but remix it. And that takes courage. And I think it first starts off with your attitude, right? And your attitude most clearly shows up in terms of how you talk to yourself. How do you think about yourself? Are you confident in yourself?
Definitely. I mean, right now I'm in my closet. My closet is my haven, so to speak. This is where I come. I sit down with a journal, or I just sit with my little drink, non-alcoholic. I can't drink, and I actually sit down and plot my life out. I think about what is important, what I want, and I will sit here and I'll meditate. I even talk to myself. And when I'm talking to myself, it's not like, let's say I want to be, I don't know, to me, I want to be Martha Stewart. I'm going to tell you straight out. I'm not sitting here. I think I'm going to be Martha Stewart. I am Martha Stewart. That's how I start. I am Martha Stewart. I am the maven. I have all the best recipes. I can show you how to do this. I just completely act like I am that person or already at this place and just run with it and let my mind just go for it. There's no shame in it. Why not? I'm not going to sit here and have self-doubt. You start doubting yourself, guess what? It's gone. You lost the game. So talk to yourself. I do it all the time. Write down your goals. I set those goals, and what I make sure I do, make sure my goal is achievable. I don't try to overwhelm myself when I set my goal. So I take small little steps towards it. And each time I achieve a little step, I make sure I celebrate those steps and pat myself on the back, treat myself and say, okay, girl, you done good. Now let's go on to the next phase and keep building and keep going. And next thing you know, you have the whole game won. And that's the way it should be. It always bothers me when I see, especially kids, I can't do it. There's no such thing. I can't do it. Just do it. Don't worry about what other people are saying about you. It's not your business. I love that phrase because it truly is not your business. They don't know what you're thinking here. Just move forward, because when you start moving forward and things start falling into place, those naysayers, they look at you like, what happened? And they start to move towards what they need to be doing as well. So you become inspirational to other people. So that mindset, finding your focus, your purpose, it takes time. Once you start to change that mindset, you become nonconformist. I was definitely a nonconformist at the hospital.
Mhm.
I mean, they were talking to me like I was crazy. Girl, she's crazy. Okay, Jacobs, I don't know what she's doing. But it didn't bother me. I didn't care what my colleagues were saying. I would say no to everything. If it did not align with my purpose, I would say no. And I was very confident in it because I knew if I said yes, guess what? It was going to fail. So what's the point? You're wasting my time and I'm wasting yours. And then all of a sudden you become resilient. Like things that hit you that come out of the blue, I would never panic. I stopped panicking. I was just like, okay, bring it on, because I knew that I could adapt to change faster than anybody else, the people around me. And it didn't stop me. I was able to even propel myself quicker forward, just keep moving and achieving and doing things. And they're like, what's going on? I don't know. It's just that resilience that you build is so powerful. It just grabs you and it grabs other people, and other people start moving in their directions too. So
I really love, it's really almost a recipe that you're offering us up, and part of that recipe is celebrating the small victories, celebrating those small steps. I'm also hearing you talk about really being confident being just as confident in your no's as you are in your yeses, right?
yes,
Because
exactly.
I think that's where a lot of it falls apart for folks, is that they're really confident in their yeses, but they can't seem to say no to anything, right?
Bingo.
And so it pulls focus from what you've said yes to. No.
Exactly. Especially for women, because we are conditioned to be, yeah, she'll do it. Don't worry, she'll go and do it. It's okay to say no. Say no. If it's not right, say no. And it's not
And I always say no doesn't have to be forever, but no right now, right? And remember that you have the right to change your mind, right?
exactly. And that's another thing. You have the right to change your mind. That's something that people got to understand. You have the right to do that, to change your mind. You have the right to be who you want to be. You have the right to be right, whatever it is at that time that works for you. It's not about what works for everybody else.
And so right now, it's no secret these are challenging times for our country. I think there are a lot of people, particularly in our community, that are feeling grief in a lot of different ways, right? Their candidate for office may not have won. They may be just absolutely, taken aback by the executive orders that are being signed and the headlines that are hitting every single day. And so talk to us about, how you're able to move forward even through that noise. You mentioned that, you are a former OBGYN. I'm sure when you see some of the healthcare related headlines in particular, I'm sure you find those very disconcerting, to say the least. How do you keep a line of sight on those issues that are important to you and that you devoted so much of your life and career to, while also moving forward?
For me, what I have been doing for the last month or so, I limit the amount of news. I know what's going on, but I don't sit there and watch news cycles 24/7. What I do, I see whatever's going on in women's healthcare. I make a note of it. I check in with a few of my colleagues just for a little bit, make sure they're okay. But I continue with my path, because what I'm going to do, I'm going to do it. I'm not going to let anything and anybody stop me. And I'm not going to let whatever is happening in the world stop me. Because if you do, I guess, take on too much of that. And that's what I was telling one of my former colleagues, I know she's in the mix. It bothers her. But if you take on too much of that, you become paralyzed. You will stop growing. You won't be able to overcome. You won't be able to help yourself. You can't help your patients if you do. So I kind of limit, I guess, the news. I focus more on what my goals are. And I also keep my family and particularly my children close to me and make sure that we stay intact as a family unit. And if you don't have a family, I have girlfriends who are single, you find your core, your support, you all stay together intact and move forward. And don't let those distractions around you take you off that path. Because
in our
day, you're going to win. You will win at the end of the day.
Yeah, yeah, amen to that. In our remaining minutes, you know, are there 2 or 3 tips that you would offer folks who, you know, maybe are looking for some respite uh, by investing a bit more of their time, of their talent, of their treasure when it comes to, you know, the lifestyle work, right? Around the house. You know, maybe, you know, there are folks out there that have talents and skills that they feel like they haven't tapped, and like, hey, no better time, no better escape, quite frankly, from the present than channeling their energy in these particular ways. Where should folks start if they want to, you know, take a gander, you know, at what life might be like in the lifestyle space, either, you know, as a career, or as a hobby?
Ugh. What I did, and I'm gonna tell you the truth. I just got on social media one day randomly, and I just posted, seriously, let's go ahead and make some almond iced tea.
Almond iced tea? I didn't even know almond iced tea existed.
It's on my website. Everyone goes crazy about it. Just post, get on social media. It is your platform. Hook up with your friends, your family. Start posting things that you really, really love and are passionate about. And it's going to shine through. People are going to see it. And trust me, it will start to kick off. You know, do you be authentically you? You know, don't be apologetic. Let that light shine. And that's what I tell people. Let your light shine. Are you going to let somebody dim it? No. But you let yourself dim it. Most people do. You can't do that.
Yeah.
Just put your foot out there. If you want to be a writer, go ahead and publish your first book, because it's so easy now. You have all these platforms. You don't have to go to a big publishing company. Put it on Amazon. Do an ebook. Put it on social media. If you want to be the world's best chef, go out there and show us your finest. You know, people are watching, you know, do it.
That is so true. People are watching. I always like to say everyone has their reality TV show. It's broadcast right here.
Exactly. YouTube is out there. People are doing all kinds of cool things, tutorials now on YouTube. You know, Black History Month. There's so many Black History tutorials out there. I mean, there are people out who love to renovate homes. They're putting it out there for the world to see, for everyone to learn, to take a little bit of something from those segments and use it in your life.
So tell us in our remaining seconds, where can people go to follow your work, to support your work? Where can people go?
Well, I have a website. It's justjeanniejacobs.com. And I have a home fragrance line, which I love. It's based on finding my clarity and purpose. It's called Pivotal Moments. And Pivotal Moments has become my thing. I love scents. I love creating spaces that feel like home and making people feel comfortable. So Pivotal Moments by jj.com. You can find all my home fragrances right now. And you can also find it on my website, justjeanniejacobs.com. Also, you can find me on Pinterest. Oh, I'm a Pinterest girl. Right now, I have 3 crafts I'm going to start creating in the kitchen.
All right.
Tablescapes, you name it. I love home decor. I have built 3 homes. If my husband will let me, I'll probably be designing homes if I can. That's coming later. He don't know anything about that.
Cover your ears, Mr. Joseph. Cover your ears. So many fun things that you're working on, and so much for us to tap into, including the almond iced tea. I got to check that out.
Well, I have a cookbook coming out in May, probably. So it's called My Table. I'm working on that right now. Actually, it's in the editing process.
We know that process very well around here. And so, listen, when you come out with your cookbook, will you come back and share with us some of your favorite recipes?
Of course.
All right. Because we can't have a more perfect union on an empty stomach.
Exactly.
I don't think we can do that. Our thanks to Dr. Jeannie Jacobs
thanks for having me.
for joining us. Please come back again soon. When we come forward, it's time for the quiet part out loud. You don't want to miss it. You're listening to A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580.
This is A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
The new year brings new health goals and wealth goals. Protecting your identity is an important step. Your info is in endless places that could expose you to identity theft, leading to lost funds. LifeLock monitors millions of data points per second. If your identity is stolen, our restoration specialists will fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Resolve to make identity health and wealth part of your New Year's goals with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS. Visit lifelock.com. Terms apply.
Our daughter Jessie loves playing detective.
A clue.
But since we discovered she has sensitive skin, we've been playing detective too.
We thought the problem was our puppy.
But it was actually our old detergent.
Aha.
So we switched to Tide Free and Gentle. Tide Free and Gentle provides an excellent Tide clean, and it doesn't leave behind irritating residues like dyes or perfumes, so it's gentle on your skin.
Case closed.
If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Free and Gentle.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. If you need help getting your resume in order, finding job training, or landing a job, we've got 3 great options for you. First, the City of Los Angeles has WorkSource centers across the area offering free job support. The California Workforce Development Board can help you with everything from GED prep to vocational training at no cost to you. On the federal level, the Department of Labor's American Job Centers offer a full range of services for job seekers and businesses alike. Visit careeronestop.org, or for more info, just call California's Help Center or visit cwdb.ca.gov or call 916-657-1440. For the City of Los Angeles programs, go to ewdd.lacity.gov or call 213-744-7300. All these services are free to help you get your next job. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
The California Crusader newspaper would like to thank all of our subscribers for their support throughout the years, proudly serving the South Los Angeles and South Bay areas for more than 40 years. The California Crusader is a multicultural, Black-owned, adjudicated newspaper that focuses on providing newsworthy information to the people in our community. We're constantly looking for ways to assist businesses in our community to connect with our subscribers. We provide low-cost, effective ways to promote your business with our reasonable and affordable advertising rates. You can participate by suggesting, sharing, and submitting your stories on the California Crusader newspaper Community Share Facebook group page, or visit our website at cal-cruise-news.com. That's calcruisenews.com. Then click on the Submit Now button located on the top right corner of the homepage, or text CCN to 42828. Again, text CCN to 42828. The California Crusader newspaper, working together to build a better community for our future. Subscribe today.
Notable journalists, industry leaders, lawmakers, change makers, tastemakers, and you, working to build a more perfect union on KBLA Talk 1580.
You're listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. I'm Dr. Nii-Quartelai, and it's time for the quiet part out loud. And just this weekend, I saw this post on social media. In fact, our colleague Big Boy in Los Angeles, y'all could hear him on the radio. He had an interview that he did with Will Smith. And in this interview, Will Smith talks about how every single person struggles. Every single person struggles. And he talks about it as something that really unites us. I think sometimes we think that, for folks who are, on TV or radio, or people who have huge social media followings, people that are famous or mega famous, sometimes we think that their life is without struggle. And Will Smith, somebody who's achieved a lot, and has also lost some things along the way, talked about it as something that can unite us, something that can help us to see each other in a way that creates opportunities for engagement, as opposed to opportunities to belittle or put folks down. So I saw that and I thought, wow, it's kind of refreshing to see a public figure not exploiting folks' struggles, but talking about struggle in a way that helps us to see ourselves in one another. And so, with that in mind, I saw this next headline and I thought, wow, a Republican that's sounding the alarm about how an action could actually create even more struggle for not just people around the world, but for people here in the United States. PoliticalWire.com reporting that a GOP senator is sounding the alarm on the delay of USAID food. Senator Jerry Moran, a Republican from Kansas, said a freeze on federal funding and a change at the U.S. Agency for International Development left $340 million in life-saving food grown in the United States sitting at domestic ports awaiting delivery to locations around the world where people were starving. Senator Moran said, quotes, "Time is running out before this life-saving aid perishes. Food stability is essential to political stability. And our food aid programs, they help feed the hungry, they help bolster our national security, and provide an important market for our farmers, especially when commodity prices are low." He said the quiet part out loud. The problem is there aren't enough Republicans that are saying the same thing. I mean, we talk about humanitarian aid and foreign aid as if it's simply just charitable. It's just Americans being nice to folks less fortunate around the world, but it's actually bigger than that. You take away that aid, which makes the difference in the quality of life for so many people around the world. You take away the aid that makes a difference in terms of people receiving life-saving interventions, including food and medications. You take that away and you create instability. And I don't think we want to live in a less stable world. It's been not even a month since the transition of power. And I think we're all feeling energetically, we're feeling the difference between more and less stability. And so no matter how you voted in November 2024, you should know that political stability, no one party has a monopoly on political stability. That political stability is something that benefits folks across the political spectrum. And so, at the very least, we should be speaking up, speaking out. Don't just shrug your shoulders, because political instability over there, wherever that is, inevitably creates instability wherever you are. we'll have to leave it there. This is a loving reminder to do what you can from where you are with what you have. My thanks to the entire village helps us produce a more perfect union each and every day. Our executive producer, Tavis Smiley, our sound engineer, Andy, our show producers, Kim and Faraji, and of course, each and every one of you, all of our leaders, learners, and listeners. You all take good care of yourselves. Look, there's going to be a storm. There's expected to be a snowstorm hitting the East Coast tomorrow. And so be careful out on the streets, stay warm, and we'll see you tomorrow. You've been listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580.